Hey guys, it's Kyler here, and welcome to Family Talks. This is our first episode, and it's basically an interview type series where I talk to people in my family and just regular people around here with my co-host, my mom, which she's going to be the first person interviewed today about regular day problems and hard-hitting questions in just their lives. So let's get started, and I hope y'all enjoy. If y'all do, go subscribe, like the video, and smack that bell in the face. Thank y'all for watching. Right. So hey Mom,
Hey.
how are you? You having a good day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So before we get started with the questions, I wanted to ask you about like how your day went and also how you are mentally right now. Like how's everything going for you?
My day was pretty normal, and mentally, because of everything that's going on, I'm doing good actually.
That's good.
That stuff. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm okay with my mental state right now, but besides that, like, I'm okay. And yeah, so let me get into the questions for you.
Okay. I don't like that. I don't know what the questions are before I'm going to have to answer them.
Well, that's the point of an interview.
Okay.
Okay, so these are questions that I've been wanting to ask you for a while now, since I've made the idea of this podcast / interview process thing. So the first question is I want to ask is, where as a single mother did life get hard for you? What was the first time you can remember that life got real hard for you as a single mom with 2 children?
Okay, I'd say like at the very beginning, with 2 children. I mean, just I don't know. It's a hard question just because it's not one thing. It's hard financially.
Mhm.
But outside of that, it's not like a certain thing that stood out that.
Yeah, but you don't remember like a moment, like the first moment where you're just like, this is difficult, like this is too difficult, like this is hard, like where you kind of wanted to maybe give up or just a
No,
little bit.
because that's not how I am. I
Yeah.
don't ever feel like I'm just gonna give up. Plus, when you have kids, you don't give up.
Yeah.
And so the most challenging thing about being a single parent is you're just the only one that there is to depend on, without it hurting your kids or without it making things hard for your children. What I always try to do is make it to where y'all didn't feel it,
Yeah.
or y'all didn't realize how hard it really is,
Yeah.
because it's not y'all's worry. But I never the thought of giving up just never entered my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I kind of guessed, because like I've grown up, you've done a good job without us really having to worry about when we were gonna eat or where we were gonna stay or sleep or anything like that. You always made it like pretty normal and made us feel okay.
So I was gonna ask, did you
really,
ever feel unsafe?
no, I always felt pretty safe and like safe and okay in where I was and how life was going for me. And recently it has gotten a little hard, but we're okay, and I know that like we're gonna get through it because we're
That's what we
a
do.
strong family. Yeah. No. Before I go to the next question, I just thought of something. So it is Halloween season. It is like spooky month. It's October 6th, I think today is. So, your outfit made me think of Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
Like
that's
from
literally
the-
why I picked it.
Yeah. It's funny. That's one of your favorite movies, huh?
Yeah, I love Beetlejuice.
Yeah. I love Tim Burton movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was something I was gonna say now. I don't remember. We'll move on. Oh well, it might just come back in.
Okay. So the second question I had was, how is it to raise a boy and then a girl was it different in any way? And was it easy to raise basically both of them around the same time? We're 7 years apart, me and my sister, like you know.
Okay,
Of
telling
course.
me, like, I
But
don't know.
like we're 7 years apart. But was it any different from raising a boy
You?
and a girl? Yeah, raising me and then raising JoJo.
Okay. I'm not done raising JoJo.
Boy, yeah.
So, but yes, very, 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 very different. First of all, y'all are 7 years apart. You know what I'm saying? So, like I was just telling Joe earlier, raising you, I never felt like old in the sense of like I didn't understand what was going on in your life or like whatever the stuff that you're into. With Joe now, I feel that idea of like, you know, oh, I'm old because I don't get what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the major differences I've noticed recently. Is because it's like
What do
she
you
talks about,
Yeah.
but it's because she is into like the YouTube with Dream and S&P stuff or whatever, and she includes me so I know what's going on.
Yeah.
But then she'll say stuff like, oh, he's gonna say a slur, and I'm like, what the, like, what do you mean? And like, why is that bad? You know, whatever. And I said, what is a slur then? Like,
Yeah.
she was mentioning somebody saying something about the F slur, and I'm like,
The F word,
am I
the
allowed to curse?
cursor? I don't know. I really don't. If this goes on YouTube, I don't think we're allowed to curse.
Well, people curse all the time on YouTube.
Yeah, but there's
Can't you
certain
just go
rules.
beep?
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought it was
Yeah.
a curse word. I thought it was fuck. I was like,
Yeah.
fuck, and she was like, no.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I had to look it up
Yeah.
to see what a slur is, and then it's
Yeah.
just basically a word that is that's very offensive, and really to me, and depending on the way you're using it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, that word, in case anybody doesn't know,
The F
you know,
word?
F slur is faggot.
Oh. Okay.
And so
Yeah,
it's like,
that's-
I mean, yeah, it is offensive, but like when you're saying words like, you know, I've listened to rap and hip hop and bounce my whole, you know what I'm saying, growing up.
Yeah, I know.
That's like I still love that music,
Yeah.
and if they're gonna say nigga in it, I say it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't feel like I'm offending anybody, and I don't have the intention of offending somebody with it.
Yeah.
Like that's
Well, there's
that's
also-
the verbiage we use.
Yeah.
Now I've backed off on that a lot because I understand it does offend certain people that, you know, that's close to us, and because it offends that person or those people, then I'll, you know what I'm saying, that's
Yeah.
fine. It's like not a word that I have to say.
Yeah.
But so just the way things have changed, the dynamics, and everybody being so offended by so many things.
Yeah.
That's, you know, so then I feel old with that,
Yeah.
and then and I don't physically feel old. It's just not understand like just
Yeah.
different stuff. With you, it's kind of like I still understood I was still like, I guess, in the loop or whatever. I understood what was going on.
Yeah.
As far as a boy and a girl and being 7 years apart, like that's already different. And I have two Leos, so both of my children are Leos. I have a 20-year-old boy Leo, and I have a 13-year-old girl Leo.
She doesn't act like a Leo. She's very
Well,
different
she's
in
also
her.
coming into herself,
life.
so she is kind of becoming more of a Leo, but with awesome different characteristics too. So y'all are very, very different. I definitely do still feel like raising a boy is a lot easier. Girls, there's just so much different dynamics to it, and I've always gotten along better with men or boys or, you know, just growing up,
Yeah.
because there's not all the emotions and all the like, it's just straight up, like that's how it is. It's not
Yeah.
like whatever. So, and you have always talked to me more. You've been always more open. You know what I'm saying?
But that's just because you have raised us on the principle of always talking about our problems and being open with you, because you've always been super open with us, and you've told us pretty much everything. If we had a question, you let us know, and you were always truthful. You never really try to hide too much of anything, if any, like you never try to hide anything. So I just always felt very comfortable telling you like what was going on with my life, like my love life or anything. Just I always felt comfortable telling you, even though sometimes you'll be like, you're not telling me anything, but I do tell you mostly everything because I feel so comfortable in doing that. That's because of how you raised us.
And JoJo is not so much that way. You know what I'm saying? Like she's not as open. She's not like
Yeah.
it's like pulling stuff out and sometimes. But now it's changing because she's getting older too.
Yeah.
So I mean, like yes, it's very different raising a boy and a girl. But I think that's just in general. It's different. I mean, like my homegirl Roxy. You know what I'm saying? She has 4 kids. She has to raise even though they're all raised in the same household. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to raise and change the way you're doing things per child because they're not all the same person.
Yeah.
So even if y'all were both boys, you know what I'm saying, it would still be so different. If y'all were both female, you know what I'm saying, it's so different. So yes, it's been definitely very, very different.
Yeah. So the third question I have is, what is your idea of a good parent? Like, do you think of yourself as a good parent and how you've raised us that you've been a good parent, or also like how do you see a good parent in your eyes? Like not as you, but as somebody else. Like, how do you see anybody as as
Like
a good
what
parent?
makes a good parent?
Yeah.
Too. It's I think I'm a good parent. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I feel. I mean, the main thing there's things I've definitely haven't done great, which was like, it's like teaching you the dynamics of money and helping you have now I'm like being able to do that, but like helping you have a better relationship with money.
Yeah.
Because that can definitely have an effect on how money comes and goes in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, an exchange of energy no matter what. So it's, so you don't have to hold on to it so tightly because then you're living in lack.
Yeah.
So it's like that's what you're still putting out there. But anyway, so that because I wasn't raised with that structure. Obviously, I should have, as an adult, found out a way to figure out that structure and then teach y'all that structure. But so that's one thing. For me, I feel like it's a parent fail.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, I think I pretty much have 2 awesome kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, and we're all open. So what I believe a good parent is for one thing, a present parent. Somebody who is present, not just taking care of them, like putting a roof over their head and having, a place for them to live and eat, but being present in your kids' lives. Understand what's going on in their world, you know what I'm saying? Even if they don't want to talk about it, not, I don't know, like just really, I guess, just being present, talking to your kids, making sure that they feel safe.
Yeah.
I think that, I would say that's the biggest thing about being a good parent, because we're all going to mess up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No, y'all are definitely going to come to me when y'all are old and be like, oh, well, if you would have just did this, or why didn't you tell me that, or blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? That's going to happen.
But I think you've been a good parent and being good at raising us. But I know actually no buts, but I just want to let you know, like, I don't think you failed in any way. Like, just some people have to learn things through life and growing up than other people haven't learned yet, and then it's just different. Yeah, it's vice versa, and it's okay to not have that yet. Kind of getting it now with some of the finances and some money things, understanding it a little bit. I get that and being a good parent. Also, before I go on to the next question, this is one of our 3 dogs. His name's Buttercup. He's a little chihuahua. Well, he's a big old chihuahua.
He's a chihuahua mix.
Yeah. And he's the cutest little guy in the world.
Got attitude problem, but that's his Mexican side.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Buttercup. Our next question is a double, like it's 2 questions in one, and it's: do you believe that you have gone through tougher obstacles in your life than us? And do you think if you did, that it helped you raise us better?
Absolutely. I know for a fact I've been through much tougher things than y'all have, but it doesn't change the fact that y'all's things that y'all have been through that are tough is less than.
Yeah.
It definitely made me a better parent. I was very much I mean, that's what happens every generation. It's like you try to make a better choices and not have your kids have to suffer or go through the same things you went through. You know what I'm saying? So the problem with that is it's either overdone, like it's an overkill of that, or sometimes like a lack of, you wind up doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I was on my own at 16 years old. I definitely want to make sure that wasn't going to happen for y'all.
Yeah.
I also didn't want y'all to have to like deal with struggles or things that can be avoided. You know what I'm saying? Like high school or school is rough. You know, it could be a challenge no matter what school you go to. I wanted you to be in a better school district.
Yeah.
And for you, you really needed to be in a better school district. So, I mean, that I made sure to change from where I went to school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but when I was going through that, I mean, I knew it was hard or whatever, like just the challenges of the people that I went to school with and just how things were.
Yeah.
You know, there was like a lot of drugs, there was a lot of fights, there was a lot of stuff like that. But at the same time, the drugs were still and are still in high schools, even here, where we're at, you know?
Yeah, which I kind of never had to. I knew about it. I knew a little bit about it where I went to school, like during high school, but I never really had the problem with it or like knowing about it. It was never like that big of a problem to me until like I found out it was a big problem after I graduated in like high school, which it shocked me because I was like, I didn't know that there was this drug problem in my school because I was usually focused on schoolwork and sometimes girls and friends and stuff, but because of high school I really like became my own person in a way and still learning. I am still learning to be my own person, but it was crazy finding out about the drug problems and stuff. And
you just weren't involved in that kind of stuff, like, and
I never have been, like, I never done any drugs, never drank any alcohol, like, I've pretty much been not clean, clean, I mean, but I don't want to really say clean, but like, I just haven't done anything, and I don't plan on it. It's not my forte, but like, it's just how it's gone for me in life, so I didn't do you feel like maybe that because I've been open with you about drugs and have, you know what I'm saying, like told you different things about like how it can come into your world if you're going to a party or different stuff, like do you feel like that's kept you aware and did you a service or a disservice because you knew too much about drugs based off of what I told you? Like, I think it's been helpful and a service to me. I've never been scared of doing drugs. I've just always known like there's a possibility that like certain drugs you take you can get real hooked on and like die off of. And also drinking, I've seen a little bit of it, and I've also known that like drinking can mess people's lives up too. So it never seemed worth it to me.
Like what? Don't like, start no shit, don't do no shit.
Like, don't do any, basically. But it's been kind of easy for me, especially when people talk about peer pressure and like how that was a big deal and how it's hard to say no to people. I found out like a little early on in high school that it was for me it was easy. It was a little difficult because I did have friends that were like, oh, do this or do that, but like I also had, those friends would respect when I said no. They try to push it a little bit, but once I was like, nah, like I'm not doing it, they were cool with it and still were my friends, which is cool. But it's been easy not to have to say yes to somebody, to say no to drugs or alcohol or anything, and never be afraid to like say no to all those things just because you think you're going to be cool or not. You're not. Just be yourself and don't let people push you to do anything wrong or anything you wouldn't want to do. But anyway, I never felt like I needed to and had to. But it did help me in the long run. You talking and being open about that stuff. Yeah. But also I thought of this, it wasn't on my paper, but I thought of this question because I thought it would be a pretty good question to ask. So you are a single mother, you've raised us most of our lives so far, like all of our lives actually, and we go to our dads on the weekends here and there. Not anymore for me, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time.
Yes.
But how do you feel you've done with the whole of being open and honest with us about your sexuality? Like being, I say bi, you don't like the word bi, but you like women, you like men, you just like the person. But how do you feel you've done about raising us through being your sex, like through like your sexuality? How have you felt about that?
I mean, apparently I did all right with it because I didn't have too much backlash from y'all, but I've always raised y'all to love and be open to every different type of person because we're not all the same, and if we were, that would be so freaking boring.
Yeah.
And so I guess because I was open, I've always been open with y'all. So like when I started dating, a female, and I knew that that's somebody that was going to be in our life, you know what I'm saying? That's, then we'd share it, or I share that with y'all. And I don't know, I mean, like, I did worry sometimes, like, if maybe y'all were getting picked on at school behind it, because I don't hide who I am. And I didn't hide who I was, even when I would volunteer at the school or go, so I always wondered if people, like, made fun of y'all or whatever, like, it made it harder for y'all.
Yeah.
But
for me, I never really had that problem. There was kids that would be like, you always had your hair, which was always different colors or anything, and when you did volunteer at the school or come to lunch or whatever, like, usually the kids would just be like, your mom's so cool, or your mom's super nice and awesome, and like, they would remember you by your hair or anything. But never really talked about your sexuality. And then when kids would be like, they're mostly guys, when they try to pick on you, try to mess with you or whatever, they would say like, one thing, they'd be like, but you, like, your mom's gay, and I was like, yeah, she is, like, and I never had a problem being like,
well, because if they knew that it bothered you, then they knew where to hit below the belt. And since you were like, what does it matter? Like, okay, that's not like something we're keeping a secret. Or it's not
it was it wasn't just, I had no idea, like, you got me, like, but it was funny. I don't know. In high school, I was never really I was worried a little bit about how people felt about me, but I was always not afraid to basically be myself.
Exactly.
And I thank you a lot for that, because you're a big reason why I am like that. And it was just nice to never really care, because my last 2 years of high school, junior and senior year, more of senior year, I basically wore suits pretty much every day to school. And all the kids would be like, what do you, like, why? Like, why are you wearing suits to school? Just because I like to, I want to. And they're always so confused. They always give me a look like why? Like, they didn't understand why I did that. And it was just because I wanted to. It made me feel good. And I liked having basically the power that it gave me when I wore a suit, and it was always so fun to do.
It's confidence. It's like,
yeah, and even though a lot of people would be like, what, like, you're weird. Now, to this date, I get noticed by people I had no idea knew me in high school, or we didn't know each other in high school, and be like, you're Kyler Hefner, and I'm like, yeah, how do you know me? And it's like, it's either weren't you the guy that wore suits every day to school? And I was like, oh yeah. And or it'd be were you the mascot? And I was like, yeah, because I was the mascot my final year. Once they brought it back, I was the mascot for the school. So it was just like.
So do you remember? I think it was like freshman year. You wore a suit a couple times, and then you just didn't. It wasn't even just the suit, like, or you would wear like a nice button up with some jeans, or you would do something still like fancier than what most people are doing, and then you just stopped.